Grills, I like it, is our friend, the co-host of Birds 365. They had a great show today. By the way, we appreciate everybody. Please hit that like button. Supers go to the top. We love it. Is our friend Big C, Zander Krause.
What's going on, Big Sills?
All good, man. All good. Especially here on a football Monday in the East is won by your boys, the Philadelphia Eagles.
It feels good to get the win, baby. Feels good to lock up the NFC East. Now let's gear up, get ready for the playoffs, baby.
After 24 hours from the post-game show, had a chance to settle back, listen to some other shows, read some other comments that people have made. I'm going to say, you know what? Well, first, let's do the takeaways. Anything that changed your mind from the post-game show to where you are right now?
Nothing changed my mind other than I think it's going to be a fair conversation in the offseason. If this team doesn't reach a Super Bowl, I think people are going to be flocking to Big Sills for answers on this passing game. Now, I'm not quite as far as you are on it because I want to wait till the offseason to have that conversation. If you think that's fair, let me know.
I do.
That's where I'm at with it. Where we're 13-3. I feel real good about where the team is right now, but Jaylen Herz hasn't thrown 3 touchdown passes all year. I mean, we had 3 touchdown passes yesterday, and they made it look easy. So, and the reason
no sacks.
No sacks. The reason I said now the Cowboys do suck. I mean, let's call it.
Well, they're good on third down.
Let's add all the context there. That's not the same Cowboys team. They're missing a lot of dudes over there, so they do stink. But you have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. You have Dallas Goedert. You have Grant Calcaterra. You have Saquon Barkley. You have a top 5. Like, we have everybody on offense. And early in the year when we talked about this was why we talked about it. It was because the offense is built to be great, not mediocre, not 2,900 passing yards. Great. That's how it's built. But I'm not gonna go down that route yet because I do feel good about where we are, but I do think it's going to be a fair conversation. It's going to be an interesting one to have this offseason. How this season ends is going to be interesting, and it should give us a lot of answers, honestly, because I'm not trying to hate on Jaylen. I'm not. I think he's a great player. I think he's a winner, but we kind of just saw 2 backup quarterbacks drop a 40-burger.
And I'm watching a backup quarterback right now win home field advantage potentially in Sam Darnold. Okay.
That can play.
I mean,
I think I'm starting to shed the Sam Darnold's going to turn into a pumpkin. I don't think anybody can throw 4,300 yards and 35 touchdowns if you stink.
He was insane yesterday. 377. They beat the Packers. I mean, they beat it with balance. You know what, too? Think about it. So he has the shitty coaching and organization of the Jets. Then he goes to the shitty organization of Carolina. The guy in San Francisco, Niner all day, goes, he remembers Kyle kept doing this. Hey, I like this guy. This guy Darnold can play. They didn't want to get rid of him. He goes up with Kevin O'Connell. And by the way, I'm going to shoot back on John McMullen on one thing because of what I saw with Sam Darnold last night. So you tell me this. So Sean McVay just won the NFC West. That's his 4th division title in 8 years. He's got 2 NFC championships and a Super Bowl. You think that's fucking overrated?
Yeah, but let me push back on you because I agree with you.
Okay.
I agree with you. Sirianni's coached for half the time, and he's got exactly half the accolades.
And he's not a play caller. That guy is.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. Different
He's a
types
play-calling head coach.
Different types of coach. I'm just saying, I'm not the biggest Nick Sirianni fan, but he does win a lot. He does. 4-7 wins in 4 years. I mean, that motherfucker's winning.
I say this to you. Boy, the guy that I got to start giving more accolades to is that GM.
Yeah, Howie.
That GM
this is a beast team. This is a damn good football team.
This
overall, all around. This is a good team. Absolutely.
It's the best roster in the league.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that before the year. I agree.
Oh, I didn't think that on defense. And nor did Vic. They didn't know what they
Yeah,
had.
I guess maybe on defense, I definitely didn't think they were.
But you saw it quicker. You saw it like in week 3. You said you think this defense is going to come along quicker, and not a lot of people thought that, and I didn't either.
The no holes defense.
Hey man, the run defense is kind of walking back a bit, but they're still 268-yard.
I think you saw Nakobe's importance yesterday, Sills.
Maybe possibly so. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean he's a really good downhill player, so he fills the holes really well on the defensive line. That's why I think he's so good in the run game. And you didn't have that. Warren Burks had a couple. He had some good plays yesterday, but he doesn't. What's that?
Had some bad ones too.
Yes, he did, but he doesn't get downhill like Nakobe does. No. Nakobe uses his speed to get downhill, and that really helps that defense in the run game.
I'll say this to you, and I know that this is not going to be something that the media likes, but I'll do this here. I want Barkley to get 2105. I mean, I want him to get that number because I think it's a testament to Jeff Stoutland. Jordan Mulatto wants it, and most of the players want it. I mean, to me, I think that number would be emphatic of what the season has really resembled. Can you imagine topping this off in New Orleans by winning a Super Bowl, and you got the number 1 ranked defense in the NFL, and Jeff Stoutland has the all-time single-season rushing mark held by Saquon Barkley. By the way, don't you think Barkley's got to make up for a little lost time in New York? That having that record would also help his case down the line when you're looking at resumes for potentially going to Canton, because he's been sensational this year. He is way better than I thought of a football player. I did not – my youth was around the Giant organization, and I did not think that guy was the second pick in the draft. He has been absolutely spectacular this year.
Yeah. To be fair to you, he wasn't in New York. He was not that guy. By the way, let me ask you this. Do you want him to get it, or do you not want him to get it? I want him to get it selfishly, but I would understand the concept or the idea of sitting everybody down. I mean, you come this close, though, the more I think about it, the more I want to play, because I'm like, why go in fear? Why play? Why make your philosophy based on fear? Isn't that in a way everything that this organization tries not to be? I mean, you go for it on 4th down. Why? Not because you're confident that you're going to get there, not because you're fearful of what happens if you don't get it. It's the same concept. I mean, Barkley's played 16 games. He's run for 2,000 yards and over 300 carries, and he hasn't gotten hurt. Now we're not going to let him get the record because we're 100 yards out.
Here,
I don't know. I do get it though. Like John McMullen tells me this morning, and I'm like, what, John? He's like, players don't care about those accolades. Fans do. And I'm like, it's the other way around. Fans want the Super Bowl. Fans are like, oh, who cares about that? Let's get ready for the play. The players want the accolades. Why would he not? I mean, I'm watching Hard Knocks, right? And Myles Garrett, the whole locker room, the whole team meeting is about Myles Garrett getting to his 100th sack and then having a 3rd straight season of 14 plus sacks because it's never been done. I'm like, players obviously care about it, and they should. They should. That's what they get paid on. That's how their careers are quantified and measured. I have no problem with it. But to sit here and tell me that Saquon Barkley doesn't want the record is fucking stupid.
Yeah,
it's stupid. I have a bigger question too on this. Will it even be up to Nick Sirianni?
No, it'll be up to the player and the player.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, will the front office say,
oh,
we're not playing?
I forgot about that dynamic.
That's how it goes in the offseason. That's how it goes early in the year.
If I was Howie, would you not want that record?
Maybe he would. But Howie, rightfully so, cares more about postseason success than a rushing record. Remember, this is
I also think he cares about acquisition success because he's being ridiculed.
But that answer is already solidified.
How about this, though? That Huff sign was a train wreck.
Train wreck. Oh, my God. What was he doing?
So was the Dotson sign a train wreck.
What the hell was Bryce Huff doing yesterday?
Dude,
he comes in, he plays a couple snaps, then he goes and sits on the bench, walks to the locker room. Somebody says he hurt a shoulder. Then he comes back, and then when we rest all the starters at the end of the game, Bryce Huff comes back into the game. I'm like, so did he not want to play when the starters were playing?
Alex Hunt played better.
I don't get that.
Okay.
I don't know if Bryce Huff wants to play here anymore. I think Bryce Huff wants out.
No, I don't think he wants to play the amount of role that he plays when the amount of plays because he knows it's taken away from his production and he's uncomfortable playing in the role they have him. Just
Well,
like
I was cool
Hassan
with it.
Reddick. Just
if
like
he was
Hassan
injured-
Reddick. Just like
if he got
Hassan
another
Reddick
injury-
was not comfortable in the role he was in. Bryce Huff is not comfortable in the role he's in. Yeah.
I mean, if he got injured, I was cool with it. But the minute he came in and late in the game, I'm like, what the fuck? We sit everybody down and now you're back? Now you're back, Bryce? I'm starting to hate that guy more and more. Not hate him.
You're
just as a player.
101 yards away, and you know the guy's going to get it. And you know the guy in deep inside wants it, and the organization wants it. Here again, let me throw this at you here. Andy Reid would go for it. You know, I know that. He played 2 preseason games, and he plays all of his starters in the preseason, and he don't have, like you just said, get this, he don't have any fucking fear. How about this? You play Mahomes in 3 games in the preseason, Zander, that have no bearing on the team's success, but they're 15-1, and Andy didn't give a shit. Andy would go for it.
That's true, and that's the other thing people say. Oh, that's for dumb organizations. I'm like, all right, Chiefs aren't a dumb organization. That's for damn sure. Now you're right. I mean, I want them to go for it because I think Saquon deserves it. I think the offensive line deserves it. I think Jeff Stoutland deserves it.
I think
in a
Saquon
way, I kind of even
deserves it.
feel like I kind of feel like even all the offensive coaches on that side of the ball deserve it, right? I mean, Kellen Moore comes here, he sacrifices, his style of play calling, his passing offense that he loves to have, and
very nicely done, Zander.
Give him the record.
He did compromise.
What's that?
He did compromise.
I do think, by the way, as much as I want them to get it, I think they're going to sit him. I don't think they're going to play him.
So we're going to see now. Who do you want to see this weekend? Most likely it's going to be McKee because of Pickett is banged up in his ribs like that. I'm sure John is telling you that Pickett is pretty much banged up here. Doubtful that he's going to be able to go in this game. What'd you make of the quarterback play in the passing game?
Impressive. Pickett was good, man. I think Pickett deserves a little bit more credit than he's gotten. Playing through broken ribs like that, grinding it out. Made some big throws, moved the ball downfield. I think he answered some of those questions, right? Big knock on him was he can't get the ball downfield. He had a great throw downfield to Devontae Smith. Thought he moved the ball well. I think at times you see him holding the ball a little bit, but it's not for the same reasons that I think like Jaylen does. I think he's just a little bit not confident yet in the offense or a little indecisive at times. But overall, I thought he was good. I thought honestly, Tanner McKee, I mean, I know he only threw 4 passes, so no, I'm not acting like he's going to be like this great player, but he was surprisingly decisive and confident for a guy that's never taken a snap in an NFL game. Like he came in and he didn't hesitate. Like he immediately identified AJ Brown's in single coverage. Boom, get that ball out. Like I thought that was pretty impressive for him. So good player. I like. John told me this morning, Kenny Pickett has a stronger arm than McKee, and I'm like, really? I didn't see that, but John sees more practice, so it's hard for me to push back on it at that point. But I thought both of them were pretty impressive. I mean, the one thing I disagree with you on is I don't think it was the most balanced attack of the year. Like they had 19 passes and 43 runs. It's like a 68% run rate in that game. So I don't think that.
But that's not kind of well, I understand in volume, but for me, it was a smoother operation. It just looked smoother. The ball got out quicker. There were no sacks. It was effective. They got 3 TDs out of the passing game, and it just looked smoother, in my opinion, with an attack like that. That looked balanced. It just felt balanced. I mean, just in the way they approached it, they had the Cowboys completely on their heels. They didn't know what they were going to do. And I'll say this about McKee here, too. Stronger arm has nothing to do with anything in the quarterback game. Are you trying to tell me Tom Brady had a strong arm or Peyton Manning? They had
I like what Sims had to say.
It's where you're going to throw the ball in progression reading is what makes a truly great quarterback.
Right. Well, I kind of thought the same thing as you there, but I did think Phil Sims had an interesting take on that. He said he doesn't buy that arm talent or that arm strength doesn't matter. He's like, there's windows in the NFL that you have to zip that. I don't know if you remember him saying that on your show.
He did say that.
You got to zip that ball in, and when you can do it, man, that gives you an advantage.
Yeah,
so I think it's good enough, though. I certainly think it's good enough, obviously. And Tanner has a nice. He does throw a pretty ball too. They were nice throws down the field. So, and by the way, his only incompletion was what's his name? Was the AJ Brown catch in the end zone where he stepped out of bounds, but the one-handed grab. So he really threw all completions. It wasn't one, just wasn't ruled a completion because he was out of bounds.
Okay, so I gotta do that. I gotta love AJ, baby. This guy is media savvy, man. So he tells the guy, I heard you bring it up too. He tells the guy on the field, let's just rest and everything. Then he sees all the local squirrels in there and he goes, I'm going to go for it. I want to be part of it. And this guy knows what he's doing. What a master manipulator, man. This guy, he's so bipolar that I
don't
love
agree with you on AJ. I'm sorry. I'm polar opposite of you on AJ.
He is so bipolar.
Yeah, but you're talking, does he have a little diva in him? Sure. But that also what makes you successful as a receiver, man. You got to have a little diva in you. And I think he has a very manageable amount of diva-ness, if that makes sense, to where it has never taken away from the team's success. He's putting up insane numbers year after year for the Birds. He's a very productive player. We don't win when he's not on the field. So I'm cool with some of that stuff. Like, you're making a big deal about about press conferences. I'm like, come on, Sales.
No, I didn't say I didn't like it. I know. Hey, believe me, a diva can spot a diva. I got it.
Yeah,
I
right.
understand.
As long as you say that, I'm cool with it.
I'm just saying, this guy is so fucking bipolar. We need to rest. I can guarantee you, if this guy was chasing down Calvin Johnson's single season record, he'd be like, I'm playing. I don't care if they put Ian Book in. I'm playing this week, man. You know this.
He would never be close to that record with this passing offense. Come on.
With the guys that played yesterday, he might be. I don't know, man. All right.
Who, with Tanner McBrady?
What did Pumper call him here, man? What did he call him? Tanner
Oh my
Manning?
God, Pumper was on fire last night, dude.
Tanner Manning yesterday.
Dude, he had some great nicknames on Tanner McKee. Pumper, you got to drop some of those in the chat. He had some good Philadelphia-based ones. They were great.
Hey, I got to tell you though, man, I've never seen a guy take more shit not playing. That guy, man.
That's you. That's you.
Me.
I didn't give Jaylen.
I heard a lot. I saw posts all over social media. Are the Eagles better without Jaylen Herz? Obviously not. Okay, nobody would put any kind of credence in that. The only thing I said was this: it just looked like a smoother rhythm operation yesterday than any game I've seen all year. That's it. Now, would I sit there, like you said, Zander, you made the greatest comment in the postgame show. Sills, it's an issue when it's an issue. I'm going to pull a Jaylen Herz on it. It's an issue when it becomes an issue. And by the way, all super chats will be read at the end. If they don't win the Super Bowl, okay? And it becomes a problem when they can't get it done in the passing game in the postseason.
To the great JAKIB Nation, to everybody listening right now, we need to win the Super Bowl or else we will have an insufferable offseason. An insufferable offseason on JAKIB.
Hey, by the way, if you guys don't win the Super Bowl, let me say this to you, man. If you don't win the Super Bowl this offseason, you guys, this show's going to blow up bigger than it was during the regular season.
Oh, yeah.
Because let me say this to you, man. It'll be 4 hours of howling. All right. Hey, dog, you got the best offensive line in Eagle history. And I know they got to close it out by winning the Super Bowl. That's fucking – dude, no sacks. They knew where he was in the pocket. They ran the ball down their throat. That thing is – I mean, can you imagine this? You're Mekhi Becton. You were called a bust. You were called lazy. You were called fat. You were called this and that. I haven't seen a better right guard in pro football than him this year. I across AFC, NFC, I have not seen a better right guard than him. Jeff Dowdlin.
Did this offensive line get better after Jason Kelce?
Yeah, they're better. They're better. They're better in the old line without Jason Kelce.
Yeah. Well, that's
Can
impressive.
I make a comment to you about that? Just to show you how fucked up that comment is? Who would have thought that Baker Mayfield would be an upgrade from Tom Brady the last 2 years.
Well, I don't agree with that.
Well, Tom Brady was 7-9 his final season. And
Well,
Tom
his
Brady,
final season, yeah, he started the show. But
and the year before that, he was okay. But this guy has outplayed him the last 2 years as well. I looked at
but Brady gives you the X factor of you get into the playoffs. He's going to go to the Super Bowl more often than he's not. I mean,
he's outplayed almost everybody.
Baker Mayfield. Actually, if
5 TDs yesterday.
A lot of people are putting up the number, and I'm not insinuating Baker Mayfield should be the MVP.
It's true. Brady was 45, so let's put that in context too, all right?
But I will say this about Bake Show. A lot of people are putting up the Josh Allen numbers and the Burrow numbers and Lamar. Like, Baker Mayfield's got 4,339 touchdowns and 15 picks with 107 rating. That dude's dealing right now. I mean, he's got a little.
How do you have Darnold in the MVP conversation?
Darnold probably should be in the MVP.
He's got the number 1 seed. He's got all these gigantic numbers. Okay? I mean,
I don't know. Who is your MVP right now? I feel like mine's still Josh Allen.
It is. Because he has Josh Allen had to get rid of $70 million off that salary cap, and they're still 13-2.
Yeah, right.
And they beat Kansas City.
Yeah. Joe Burrow, low-key, should be in there as well. But
he's 8-8, dude. If that fucker gets in the postseason, there's going to be a strong push for that guy as well, too.
I kind of want them to get in.
Lamar's close to 1,000 yards rushing, and he's going to have 4,500 passing yards and 45 touchdowns with 4 picks.
Yeah, pretty insane what he's doing, too. Boy, would that be his 3rd MVP already?
Yeah, 3rd before the age of 29.
Yeah, Lamar, you can make the – look, I think you can make a case for any of them right now, those 3 guys.
How about Barkley?
Just not a quarterback award. It's a quarterback award. That's why I'm struggling to say.
So he wins the Offensive Player of the Year then?
I think he should win that award.
Yeah, sure. I do too.
Yeah.
He'll win the Offensive Player of the Year award because especially if he gets
21. People are going to say this. I'm not going to push back on you, PBNJ. No. Lamar's having a crazy year, but I don't know. I think Josh Allen, what he's done is pretty special. I mean, Lamar's still handing off to a Hall of Fame running back there. I mean, he's got some guys. Josh Allen is literally all of the Buffalo Bills offense.
Is it me or is it I'm watching Derrick Henry the last 3 weeks. He looks like he's getting healthier and fresher the way he's running. He had 160 some odd yards this past game. Does it not look like he's freaking getting, I don't know, man. He looks awful good. What?
You talking about Saquon?
No, I'm talking about Derrick Henry. Doesn't it look like he's getting
he ran really good over the holiday. Yeah, they kind of beat the shit out of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
3 straight losses now for the Steelers.
You know where I think I'm a little biased right now on Lamar or why I don't have him top? To be honest, I watch a lot of football. I haven't watched every Ravens game.
You beat him.
We beat the shit out of him. Lamar looked not very good versus us. No. And I think that's maybe skewing me a little bit.
I like that take.
Yeah. I mean, we just, we made him we made him look like not an MVP at all. So let me ask you a question, by the way, on Jaylen Herz. John tells me I'm crazy for thinking this. John told me I was crazy a lot this morning. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Well, you are, but go ahead.
I have great takes. You worried about 3 games off going in the playoffs? Crunch time, need a win.
Not with that style.
Not with Jaylen?
Not with Jaylen's style. I would be with a passer.
Okay.
Isn't that crazy? Watch this. He's a runner, dude.
He's a runner. That's what he is.
It's what he is. He's the one of, like John says, he's one A to the run game, and he's kind of effective in the passing game. So get this. Rhythm. Has he ever had rhythm? I've never seen it, so I'm not worried about it because you know why? That style of play has won you a ton of ball games. Now, look.
2,900 passing yards is a bad look.
Dude, completely. It's awful.
Yeah.
Get this. If you're paying a guy $50 million and you brought a new passing coordinator in to improve the passing game and you had 2,900 yards and 18 touchdowns in 15 ball games, and you looked around at that and go like this, there's nobody in their right mind would go like this. Well, the passing game improved. Brian Johnson did more to improve the passing game than what Kellen Moore did. Right. Kellen Moore identified the strength of the team, and they went cookie cutter. They're going to run it. What you saw yesterday is why I said this, is that you're right. There wasn't a ton of passes. It just looked and felt better. You didn't know. If you were a defensive coordinator, you didn't know what you were going to get hit with. You didn't know. But when I'm playing against a Jaylen Herz offense, I know what I'm going to get hit with. We're either going to get hit with a pass or or we're going to get hit with a run. You're going to defend one or the other. They don't really – and they say this all the time. Well, if we can't run it, we're going to throw it. Well, yesterday you did both. You did both yesterday.
You did, but here's the one thing I like about the dual threat quarterback in the new age of the NFL. And I think it's hard to quantify this because it doesn't always show up on every stat sheet. And to be fair to you, I still think you got to be able to pass the ball very well. It's similar to Jaden Daniels, similar to Lamar Jackson, kind of styles like that. But, I mean, you watched that game last night with the Commanders and the Falcons late in the game. It's 3rd and 2. Pressure comes up the middle. And Jaden Daniels makes it happen on 3rd and short, picks up the first down, moves the sticks, keeps the game alive. And I think you see that with dual threat quarterbacks so much where they can break a defense's back by just being able to escape the pocket or just the escapability to get that first down. And I've seen that so many times over the years with Jaylen Herz. And I think it's one of those things that's hard to quantify or hard to measure how important it is. But in the new age, I think it's really valuable. Now, I will say, you still got to be able to pass the ball effectively, especially in this age of the NFL. And I think Jaylen can do it. I think it's a little concerning that the passing game has struggled as much as it has this year.
How about
I think it's been better, but he's got to make sure to make the plays when they come in.
When I watched Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson and I watched Josh Allen play with the dual threat style, those guys are 4,000-yard passers.
Yeah, what's Jaden Daniels have right now passing-wise?
I think he's got 37 with a game left. I think he's got 37.
And he's a rookie.
And he's got 25 touchdown passes, and he's under 10 in INTs. All
he's
super
35-30, so he's a little down from that. But
he's 35? He's got 35?
30, yep.
Okay, 35-30 he's got this year, and probably will play the final game. I don't know how important it is. Hey, I'll tell you what, they want
to win that game because they want to get to 60. They don't want to play us in round 1.
Okay. So then, that's right. Because then right now, also too, it'd be Green Bay if you guys were going to line up right now.
And who'd you rather play, the Eagles or the Rams? That's who the Commanders are dealing with.
Oh my God, I'd rather play the Rams.
Well, that's why they're fighting for the 6th seed.
I'd rather play the Rams because they're more of a finesse team.
What do you think? What do you think of the potential playing of Green Bay in round 1?
Yeah, here's the playoffs right now. Minnesota, believe it or not, has the number 1 seed. Phillies 2, Rams 3, Buccaneers are 4. Detroit 15-2 or 14-2, I think it is. 14-2. No, they're 15-2. Excuse me. They're in the 5 hole. You got Washington at 6, and you got Green Bay at 7. Here'd be the opening rounds of the playoffs. With Atlanta sitting in the 8 hole too at 8-8. You got Green Bay at Philly. You'd have Washington at the Rams, and you'd have Detroit at Tampa. Holy shit. Now, the home field advantage is completely wiped out with the regular season. You still could get an upset and still host the NFC title game at Lincoln Financial if Detroit or Minnesota, whoever wins this weekend, ends up dropping a game in the playoffs, obviously. You could still have the title game held in Philly. So that's still out there, but the chances of you now have been erased that you're going to win home field advantage. So Green Bay at Philly, man, Jordan Love, opening round. A repeat of the opener. I don't know, man. That'd be a tough ball game.
People are like, "Oh, you're scared. Get a dog." I'm like, I'm not fucking scared. That's not a game you want in the round 1 of the playoffs in the wild card.
That's
more of a divisional matchup.
I don't think Detroit wants Tampa. They beat them up there.
Yeah, I don't think. See, I as much as I don't want to play Tampa for us, I think Detroit's tailor-made to beat Tampa.
Because they beat them this year.
Tampa did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And they beat Philly.
I just don't see Tampa being able to slow down all those points at Tampa.
And it's at home.
That Detroit scores.
And it would be at home.
Shit, the Buccaneers are the team that knocked off the Lions?
Yes. And the Eagles.
Yeah, that was week 3, yeah.
Yeah, and it would be
that was the game that Jared Goff threw 55 pass attempts. That's right.
Hey, and it would be at Raymond James. They beat him up there too in Detroit, dude. I mean,
yeah.
Hey, look, no. Nobody's talking about being scared. You're talking about matchups in the postseason.
Man.
It's not about anything. I'll tell you what, man. I can't believe how well Minnesota has rolled That guy, Kevin O'Connell, is going to be the slam dunk NFL coach.
He should be. And credit to you. You said that a bit ago. He should be.
He's going to be the slam dunk. No matter what happens this weekend, he's going to be the slam dunk coach of the year. He's done a marvelous job with that football team here. Now, let me ask you this now. The defense, Zander.
Yeah.
What are you making of the defense? We got a game. Look, this game probably this weekend's not going to matter at all, except the determination on whether or not they're going to play Saquon Barkley and whether or not they're going to go for the record. If Barkley's going to play, I would imagine Hertz is going to play as well this weekend. By the way, please hit the like button. We'll read all supers, I promise you, in what we'll do. The defense.
I feel good about them.
How do you think they're playing well? How do you think they're playing right now?
I feel pretty good about them, but there's still a little inkling of me that has some, could they turn into could they get shelled at the wrong time? And then it costs us. I don't think so though. I mean, you have 9 turnovers in 2 games. It's pretty impressive, but like you took the ball away 4 times from the Cowboys. You beat them 41-7. Like, if you think that's going to be how it goes when you're in the playoffs, it's just not. I mean, it's impressive. It's great that they did that, but my point is, it's not like I'm not saying, oh, slamming home. Is this defense going to take us to the promised land? I'm optimistic on them. I think Vic that's partly why I want Jaden Daniels in round 1, because I like the matchup with Vic Fangio better than I like, Jordan Love, who has playoff experience, who went into Dallas last year on the road and destroyed them. 48 points they put up last year. I mean, they destroyed them. So,
plus that play caller.
I feel good about the defense. How do you feel about the defense?
They have just been, since the bye, absolutely the best unit in football and the most solid unit. I got to tell you, man, your offensive line and the defense has been the story of the year on that side of the ball.
Defense and Barkley, that's the 2024 season right now.
Yeah, that O-line, man, for me, I'm a big fat
Barkley,
guy.
Barkley.
Yeah, it all goes with that. I get it. But, man, it's just been my only problems. Here's my negatives on the defense. I'm not happy with the pressure. I'm just not. And I think the last 3 weeks, the run defense kind of given up a little bit in yardage now. Again, it's situational. I'm not going to go crazy because it's not a ton of yards, but it's gone above the 90 mark where they were to like 120, 138, something 140.
Right.
If you got a decent quarterback, Zander, and you got a guy putting 140 yards up rushing, your play action is going to work. Okay, because you've got to be cognizant of the fact that they're running the ball on you. Dallas ran the ball at 4.3 a clip. I mean, they were moving the ball, running it. So, I mean, Dallas's O-line is awful, okay? And they were able to move the sticks on it. So I was a little bit – And Jacoby Dean, did John give you any updates on what his issue is? Or does he – I think he said something on the postgame show, said that, he was out there, and I think they just had a game decision, and it kind of popped up late that they weren't going to play him. So obviously now they're going to give him 2 weeks off. So I doubt he'll play against the Giants this week. So they'll sit his ass.
Probably good for him. Yeah, probably good for a player like him.
Here's what I would do this week. I would play my starters in the first half. And I'd see where I was after the first quarter. Barkley's got 65 yards. I'm going to keep him in the second quarter.
Yeah.
Go for it. If I don't, and he's not, and the Giants are going to do everything in their power.
Can we just come out and bunch sets and
just tush push and use him as the tush push?
It with Barkley, just start freaking handing the ball off.
You really think John Mara wants to have that record broken against the Giants?
I'd love to be able to do it in 10 carries, 10 or 12 carries. I don't really want to get a game though, Sills, where I got another 30 carries.
No way. He can't take that. He's got 340 right now, 342. Hey, by the way, the ultimate fuck you is to break the record against you. I mean, I've tweeted that out too. How is that not the ultimate to Joe Shona? Fuck you. How about tasting this? 21-36 instead of 21-05. And the guy breaks the record versus you. And you got to answer that in the offseason. And you're looking for a running back. And you had him. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, that to me. Who's been a better? I mean, Vic Fangio, would you not agree, has been the best coach that has been hired by Howie Roseman in his entire general manager. He didn't hire Stoutland. That was Chip Kelly.
No, that was Chip Kelly, correct.
Chip brought him in from Miami, University of Miami. Wait a minute. I think Miami, then Alabama. I think he was at Alabama first. No, he went Miami, then Alabama, then to Philly. I think it went like that. Is he as good a hire as Stoutland?
1 year. Hard to say that yet. But
has he not developed some of the players we were calling bust?
Well, listen, Nolan Smith, Jordan Davis, not there yet, but looks better. Nakobe Dean, the two rookies in the two rookie defensive backs, Quinion and Cooper.
A free agent,
Bond, right? I mean, yeah, he's done good. I think Vic Fangio's the shoe-in for assistant coach of the year. They have that award, right? Assistant coach of the year. I think he should
Jim
get
Schwartz
that award.
won it a year ago.
Yeah, well, he deserves it this year. Vic Fangio deserves it this year. I don't think anybody expected this to be a number one defense in the NFL. Nobody. I mean, we were hoping they got the 15. Remember, we're like, boy, if they can get the 15, this team will be freaking good, man. And they're number one, so they're in a good spot right now. But I don't know, man. I keep having flashbacks of Jaden Daniels 5 touchdown passes last week, and I'm like, fuck. At any given moment, that's the one thing I hate about. Defenses in the modern game are different than great defenses in the games in years ago in the past. And I know I'm a younger fan. I know I didn't watch those defenses, but
no, you're dead.
You had a number one defense in the past.
Yep.
But you didn't get beat. You didn't have games where teams put up 30 at any given moment. You could have the number one defense. You go up against a Mahomes or an Allen or a Brady or a Burrow or any of these guys. They can make you turn you to a sieve, and all you need is one game. It's any given Sunday. So they got to keep at it. They got to stay disciplined and keep grinding. I will say nobody wants to say Quinion Mitchell's hitting the rookie wall. All right, it's fine. Nobody wants to say that. Everybody pushed back on me for saying it. He went 15 weeks, no touchdowns. No touchdowns allowed. 2 straight weeks now giving up touchdowns. And I thought there was a couple other throws there that Cooper Rush missed where Quinion Mitchell got burnt. I'm not saying he's falling off a cliff. I'm not saying he's a bust. I'm just saying you're going into the most important part of the year. Is he going to be as good as he was in the first half of the season? We better hope. All right? That's all I'm saying.
Who do you think's had a better year, Cooper DeJean or Quinion Mitchell?
Can I push? Can I say both? Can I fence ride this one?
You sound like somebody on WIP. Then I'm assuming.
No, don't compare me to that.
I'm shooting for higher standards here with us. Give me one.
I'm gonna say Q. I'm gonna say Q because
harder position.
Ooh, that's tough to say.
Harder position though. Hey, playing corner versus slot corner.
I think drafting a QB, a cornerback one is so. I'm so excited that we drafted a cornerback one that looks like he can be a cornerback one for a long time. So maybe I'm putting a little bit more positional value there, and that's what's giving him the lead for me. But I'm gonna take Q because I think we could live with a little bit lesser slot play. I don't think we'd be doing too hot if we didn't have great cornerback play on the other side, especially, by the way, in a system that relies on communication, understanding zones and some of those things. I think Q's done a really good job at that. But like I said, it's a push for me. But if you're going to make me pick, I'll take Q.
You agree that Gardner Johnson has upped his game the last 5 weeks?
I tweeted that out yesterday. He has really turned. I'll eat a little crow on him because early in the year I'm like, I don't see it. I don't see that he's added to this defense. He has. I mean, you saw it how much he's helped down the stretch. And by the way, did you hear his answer? I know they're not under oath. I get it. We don't listen to what they say too much. Watch what they do. But his answer yesterday about missing the game for the week prior and shelving who he is and knowing the team needs you to shut my ass up because it was stupid of me. I'm like, what a great answer that was from CJ Gardner-Johnson. So I'm starting to like him a lot more. He's really contributing, and he's kind of been the glue a little bit on that in that secondary.
Yeah, he has. By the way, that's an interesting number right there that Brandon brings up. 9 guys in 2K, none have Super Bowl rings. Wait a second. Are you trying to tell me that Jamal Lewis doesn't have a Super Bowl ring? You might want to check
I think
that.
he's saying none of those seasons.
Oh, that season didn't. Probably you're right. But Jamal Lewis,
that's what he's saying. Because Buckhalter says Terrell Davis is a Super Bowl,
and he's got 2K too.
Brandon, I think what you're saying is none of. Well, actually, if you look at those and if you look at those seasons, not all of them were too good. I mean, Adrian Peterson's 2K yard year, they had Christian Ponder, who barely threw for 3,000 yards. Like, he was putting up Jaylen Herz numbers. Christian Ponder.
Oh, shots fired! Holy cow!
No, I'm kidding.
Hey, let me. It did expose it a little bit though yesterday.
Expose what?
That the passing, those quarterbacks were getting that ball out and rhythm, no holding on to it. I mean, no sacks. I mean, and these guys were just backups. How about if you had a functional guy back there with all those skill set guys? I'll ask you,
Joe Burrow.
I'll ask you one simple question. Do you think that Jaylen Herz in his time as the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles, and dude, I know he's won. I get it. But do you think he's utilized every asset in his huddle to the top and to the best of their abilities, including himself?
Say that question one more time. Sorry.
Okay. In his 4 years starting, 5 years in the league, do you think that Jaylen Herz has utilized to the best of their abilities every single guy in that offense on how the offense is constructed and himself to the best of his ability?
No, that's a big, sweeping, easy answer. No. Okay. It's been great. He's winning a lot of games. I'm not trying to take away from the player, but you're talking about guys that are top of the top at their position all over the roster. I mean, Devontae Smith, people were mad at me because I put him down to like 12 to 15, somewhere in that range, 10 to 15, somewhere in that range at receivers. Well, that's what he is on the Eagles. Would he be top 10 somewhere else? Probably would. You saw how easy he got open yesterday, but there's no way anybody can say that. I mean, I'm not trying to take away from him, but no, we have in fact, I don't know how many, there might be 4 quarterbacks in the league that the answer to that question would be yes. I don't think you could say yes to that if Lamar Jackson was the quarterback.
Yeah, but I don't think any of those other quarterbacks have the assets in their huddles that this.
That's my point, though.
Yeah,
but my point is that there's so many assets here. It's very hard to get the most out of them. It's going to take a very special player to get the most out of them. But
do you think? How about we ask this question?
No way.
Do you think Dotson would have more than 12 catches?
Dude, what the fuck's up with that guy?
Dude, the guy get cuts better. The guy in Washington that they had a year ago was better.
But even Tanner McBrady and Kenny Manning were out there. They couldn't find him either. They couldn't find him either. There was games A.J. Brown missed. Dotson was nowhere. There was games Devontae Smith missed. He was nowhere.
Third rounder.
I don't understand. And then I tweeted out, Olamide Zaccheaus is so much better than this dude. And I get pushback. I'm like, are you guys kidding me? We sent a third rounder for this guy. If you signed him a free agent for $1 million, it's all right. Who cares? You replaced Olamide with him. Who cares? We sent a third.
Right.
It's a stupid move.
Stupid.
He's been nothing for this team. I don't know what happened. But listen, when a division rival sends you a first-round pick that was taken 2 seasons ago, not 3, not 4, not 5, 2 seasons ago, you could take the big red flag and you start waving it. Yeah, and that's what happened there.
All right, let's do some of these super, Zander. We got
to get through them. We got
JAKIB at the bottom of the hour here.
Brandon Howard says, how many 6-foot QBs have been historic other than Breeze? Not many.
Not Tarkington.
How tall was Montana?
6'3", 6'1", 6'2", something like that. He's in 6'1", 6'2", 6'3". He's in that.
Elway was tall too, right?
Who?
Elway was tall.
Elway was about 6'3", 6'4".
6'3".
Okay, he was about dude, that old line. Boy, when McKee looked back there in that pocket, he just looked Michael Vick. But again, how much?
Theismann, he was 6. Michael Vick was 6.
Okay, all right, and they had the Hogs, and they had the Hogs. Who?
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, that's good. But you know what Russell Wilson did to compensate for it? instead of taking a 7-step drop, he took a 9-step so that he could see over. And that was something that Sean Payton.
Fran Tarkenton.
Yeah, Fran Tarkenton's in that room. When Tarkenton retired, Zander, he had the all-time passing yardage number from Unitas, and he held it for a while, I believe, until the guy, Dan Fouts, broke it.
Sonny Jurgensen, he was 5'11".
That's a 60s, 70s guy. So I think
he's a long time
because the old line was a little smaller back then than what they are today.
Good question, Brandon. I appreciate that.
Roethlisberger is 6'6", dude. He ain't no 6.
No, Roethlisberger
was a horse back there. He was enormous, and Allen's 6'6". Okay?
Mahomes, how tall is Mahomes? What's he, 6'3"?
I think he's 6'3", 6'3.5". Somewhere in that room.
He's listed at 6'2", so yeah, probably.
Okay, 6'2". All right. Yep.
Brandon Howard, 9 guys to hit 2K, none of a super. We read that one. Flexen says, I told all of y'all to slow down on that lockdown shit with Q and comparing him to Revis.
I don't think I ever heard Zander say that you're comparing him to.
No, I don't think he's talking about me.
I don't think that was the case. But again, hey, by the way, even with the last 2 weeks, the guys played exceptional football. I'm sorry, man. I mean, if you play corner in this league, you're gonna get beat. I don't care who the fuck you are. You're going to get beat.
Jaylen is 6'1". I thought, I don't know, Jared. I met Jaylen in person. He's not too much taller than me. And
I'll tell you what there, Jared. Jaylen Herz is 6'1". If he's standing on a Hershey bar, I can tell you that, man, because that dude is no 6'1", man.
He's not happening. He's got maybe some inflated soles in his cleats.
Yeah,
maybe.
right.
Yeah.
He's wearing them extra boots.
NG checks in. He says 27's last couple games is mild concern. Yeah, that's why we were talking about Quinion.
Yep.
I agree, NG. I think it's fair to talk about my man. Flexing and stepping. What's up, Flex? KC not scared to play no one, and neither should we. Don't matter about matchups. Well, I mean, you're not scared, Flex, but there's obviously better matchups. Matchups make fights, Flex. It's one of the oldest sayings in football.
There goes flexing, throwing Kansas City. Dude, you know what? Again, remember something. Know who you are. Kansas City or them, you're not them. Don't talk like you're Kansas City.
Can you imagine if this offense had Joe Burrow?
Imagine if you had Matthew Stafford. Dude, if you had Matthew Stafford throwing from that pocket, never getting touched, he'd fucking go for 500 yards every game. Dude, I wonder how Nick Foles would do in that huddle.
Too streaky. Flexing and stepping again. What's up? We're not going to act like fans wasn't in the chat saying no one can beat us. Now fans are scared to play.
Nobody's scared to play anybody when you got that old line. Look at Flexing. Who are you? Flexing Cilio? Hyperbole? Is that where we're going here, Flexing?
Flexing
does
have a little bit of Cilio in him. I'll give him that. Mikey Shred says, passing not improved. Decision-making did.
I think a little.
Yeah, I mean, you see, one dude posted yesterday, like, "Oh, Jaylen Herz could have made those throws." I'm like, well, duh. If he saw him, he would have made them. Jalen's made many great throws, but if you watch the one touchdown pass, and I don't know I forget if it was Pickett's or if it was I think it was the Pickett throw, maybe to Devontae. One of the big throws yesterday. They're getting pressure around the edges, steps up into the pocket nicely. Lets Jordan Mailata fend off the edge rusher to the outside and delivers the ball downfield. I'm not saying Jaylen wouldn't make the throw, but 9.5 times out of 10, Jalen's taken off to the right there. That's just the reality. That's our quarterback. Some of that maybe, but maybe not. Eagles are zigging while everyone is zagging.
So yesterday, you had 5 incompletions yesterday. Okay. You had 5 incompletions, and you had 3 TD passes from dudes. Tanner McKee, who has been holding like a nice cup all year, and the other guy, Kenny Pickett, who's been sitting there, has been polishing up his resume for potentially going somewhere else next year. And those guys go out there and look like that. Like those guys have been in that offense the entire year. I don't know. It just looked better.
A-team, I don't know what you mean by this. Zigging when everyone's zagging. In what regard? Running, maybe? I'm not sure. Brian Pumper, there he is.
There you go.
Tanner the Hammer over Jalen Squirts. Free McKee, the MFR knows how to read. Holy shit. We got to roll through some of these. We got Gary Cobb coming in. Gary doesn't know yet. He's coming into a firestorm. Actually, he doesn't know. He's been coming on here for years. He knows what he's coming in.
Wait a minute. Tanner Manning.
Tanner Brady. Tanner McBrady. Oh, my goodness. John says, when Jalen comes back, that offense better start clicking unless they see greatness and decide to, unless Howie decides to go the New England route.
Oh, no. Quarterback controversy.
Not happening. F Body checks in. Early bye makes a strong case for sitting starters this week to essentially give a second bye week going into the playoffs. Nervous about rust. The only guy I'm nervous about rust is Jalen, and it's not really rust. It's just, Sills, you take 3 weeks off. I mean, we missed 2 shows last week for Christmas. You come back Friday, you're like, I feel a little different, right? You're not in the same rhythm. You're not, it's in everything in life. So
yeah,
3 weeks is a lot.
Once again, before we get Gary on, when you're a rhythm passer, that matters. You don't have one in Philly.
That's fine. Anthony Wilson says, I need you guys both to name a team that had a running back that ran for 2K and also had a QB that throws for 4K. Now, I agree Jalen has to get the ball out quicker, but he's not as bad as Sills makes it out to be. Anthony, 2,900 with
2,900 passing yards and 18 TDs in 15 games. Gary Cobb played against that when he was at Southern Cal, when he was at Cal.
Yeah, we got one more, and then we'll get to G Cobb. No Limit says, what do y'all think about the Packers matchup? They start slow, but I didn't think they'd come back yesterday. If they start fast, it'll be a different game. Yeah, and that's where I'm worried about the Eagles. They can't seem to start quick, dude. Even yesterday with Pickett, they didn't start quick.
No, I get it. I totally do. I totally do. All right. Zander, great stuff, man. We'll catch you tomorrow on Birds 365. I can't wait to hear what G Cobb's got to say, because I've got people like Crossing Broad taking shots at Big Cells, and Gary still comes on here. Angelo, well, what? No. So that dickhead at Crossing Broad says that.
Never heard of it.
Because of Howard Eskin. We have the likes of Carton and Cilio, and he goes, this is what we're left with is Carton and Cilio, and of course Cataldi has passed the torch to me, which he hates, of course, to hear that. He goes, hey, guys like Eskin have spawned Cilio and Craig Carton. And I'm like, thank you.
Somebody should tell that dude.
By the way, Cobb worked with Carton.
Somebody should tell that dude, you've been doing this for 40 years. You're not new to this.
I mean, right, like you said, who the fuck is that guy?
All right. Enjoy thanks for having me on, Sills. Great stuff, everybody in the chat. Looking forward to your interview with G Cobb.
You got it. That is going to be the case here in a second here. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit that like button. And I got to tell you, man, we're going to talk about Jaylen Herz here in a second, but I want to be fair. This is what I saw yesterday. So I'm setting this up with Gary.